I was the last nominee read. And then they, announced me as the winner, which was just kind of like a snap of like, oh, that's my name again. And then the lights come on and they're playing my song. And I'm like, I have to get to the stage and I can't figure out how to get there. I had to hop over like 10 people.
But speaking of that, speaking of your name and all that stuff and being on stage, you just won, what was it, Best Female Solo Act?
Yeah.
At the CPMAs. How did that feel? What was that like? You were actually the first CPMA award winner I've had on this show, so walk me through it.
So I was also the first of the night, which means I had no template for like what to do and like what it was supposed to look like, what I was supposed to say. I had nothing planned. Like I knew that if I there was a 1 in 6 chance or whatever that I could have won, and so I knew that I wasn't gonna do any individuals. I wasn't gonna like do a list of names because I knew I'd forget somebody, and I was like, that's the last thing I want to do. I'd rather just thank everybody separately, like send a card or call somebody or like whatever it is, than list everybody but them. And just because your brain, when you're in that like I'm not a good public speaker to begin with, and then like that pressure and that like rush, there's no way I'd get everybody without having to like read off a list, and then that feels like you're expecting it, and then that feels just like weird. So I was just like, all right, I'm not going to thank any individuals. They know who they are, but I will, talk to them separately. But I think like I really wasn't expecting to win. And then they just make it as crazy as they can. I was the last nominee read. And then they, announced me as the winner, which was just kind of like a snap of like, oh, that's my name again. And then the lights come on and they're playing my song. And I'm like, I have to get to the stage and I can't figure out how to get there. I had to hop over like 10 people, like through a whole row, because there's no open space to get to the staircase. You have to go through a row of seats. And so I had to do that. And then I'm like out of breath and I'm like trying to remember to breathe, trying to do that thing where you like pretend you're not out of breath after you go up a flight of stairs or something, which is hard enough when you're not like also in complete like shock.
Right.
So at one point I like kind of ran out of breath while I was talking, and I was like, oh my God, it sounds like I'm about to cry. Am I about to cry? I don't cry. And I was like, no, breathe. That's what you have to do. And so I breathed in for a second. I was like, okay, now I can finish talking. Like
that was wild. I wish I had a video of that.
It was
speech,
such a weird
epic.
I have a small clip of it.
Do you?
My sister caught some of it, like the last half of it, basically.
Oh, no kidding.
So
feel free to send it. I'll put it in on this.
Yeah, she did catch the like, hold on, I can't breathe. And had to like inhale.
Though if you notice, like almost every other person who had to get up there was like, God, it sucked getting up here.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'm out of breath.
Yeah,
like,
it was very validating to be like, okay, it's not just me. Like,
good.
But yeah, and I started getting Instagram ads for breathing exercise machines for vocalists.
No.
And I was like,
kidding me?
And I don't know if I think it's because I was telling the story and like I was kind of like making a joke of the whole like I couldn't breathe thing, and it was true, but it was the funniest part to me that like I like to deflect with humor, and so I would just kind of like when anybody asked about it, that's the part that I kind of focused on, and started getting Instagram ads for that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I didn't buy one, but I'm kind of intrigued. I'm like, I mean, if I can, I obviously need it. So.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm in shape. I would have probably had the same thing because your adrenaline's kicking. You just won something.
Major adrenaline
in this
rush.
huge theater in Hershey.
Yeah. Well, and then, of course, Stephen Courtney, who produced my album, was sitting a few rows behind me on the end. He runs up and, like, I would say he would probably say it was a hug. I would call it a tackle. I'm not sure. We're probably somewhere in between the two. Like, again, with the adrenaline rush, it just was so unexpected that, like, he probably didn't tackle me or didn't intend to tackle me, but that's what it felt like. And so, like, that just, like, spiked everything, too. And, I mean, it was a great time. It was fun. But it was definitely a rush of sorts.
Wow. Did you end up going to the after party, or?
I did for a little bit.
Oh, did you? How was it?
Yeah, it was all right. It was, so, like, there was 2 floors upstairs, like a dance floor, and that's not my scene. So, went downstairs. There was a bar. I was like, I'm going to get a drink, get some food.
Nice.
Like, just kind of
hang out for a
minute.
That was at the Inglewood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, me and, we dipped. You know, I brought a date, and, yeah, we were like, all right, you know, the party's supposed to start at 8, and we're a fifth way through the program, and it's 8:30 at night. What time did that end?
Oh, I have no idea. I stuck around for like 45 minutes, just kind of like said hi to a few people, and again, like the whole like actual after party thing, not really my scene.
Fair.
But I got to meet a couple of the other nominees and stuff, and so that was cool. Yeah.
Nice.